Imagine two isolated entities, completely separated from the massive systems around them, forming a perfect, unbroken connection. In 2008, the Bitcoin white paper established a clear operational mandate for electronic cash, allowing willing parties to transact directly with each other. The Cypherpunk goal was specific. If participants could verify the math themselves, they wouldn't have to trust a financial institution to process their payments or hold their balances. In practice, global blockchains successfully removed institutional third parties, but they replaced them with a network third party. Because every single state transition must be routed through that network for approval, true peer-to-peer settlement is mathematically impossible on a global consensus ledger. On standard blockchains, a payload leaves a user's edge node and dumps into a chaotic mempool. A central validator node arbitrarily reorders that data into a global block.
Thousands of computers worldwide must then synchronize to identical state parameters, costing users steep gas fees. The Deterministic State Machine Framework, or DSM, abandons this global topology. DSM executes what is known as sovereign finance by stripping away global consensus entirely, shifting the burden of validation away from a global network and pushing it down to the absolute edge, aligns the network's topology with the white paper's original definition of direct transactions. Removing the global network securely requires enforcing rigid, deterministic rules right at the protocol level. The DSM architecture operates under a strict ban list. There is no JSON, no hex, and no global validator ordering. And most importantly, there are no wall clocks. Relying on wall clock time creates vulnerabilities across distributed systems, because timestamps can drift, stall, or be spoofed by malicious actors. This demonstrates chronological ordering strictly through hash adjacency. A new block structure is perfectly derived from the preceding hash footprint, requiring 0 timestamps. The protocol enforces a strict binary first rule. Transport occurs only via Protocol Buffer Envelope version 3. Enforcing canonical formatting strictly at the byte level eliminates the parsing ambiguities and serialization errors that frequently compromise traditional smart contracts. These hard invariants provide the unyielding mathematical structure necessary to make trustless local validation secure. With those invariants established, DSM moves state management off the global ledger entirely, creating strictly relationship local state. State and identity shift from abstract network addresses to post-quantum ML-Chem cryptographic keys, bound securely to physical hardware. A relationship local Merkle tree forms exclusively between two counterparties, detached from any global chain. Validation happens directly at the edge, requiring 0 external consensus. The economic result of local verification is immediate. Without a global mempool to navigate or miners to pay, native coordination becomes completely gas-free. Throughput is no longer limited by a network block size. It is limited only by the parallel processing power of independent edge devices globally. The ultimate stress test of this relationship, local state, is executing a mathematically sound financial settlement while completely offline. DSM executes this through a specific technical pathway, a direct Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE, connection. The data flow originates from the first device's UI, packaged as a universal transaction with a protocol buffer argument pack. It drops through the JNI bridge into the Rust core. Bridging the physical gap, it triggers instant deterministic cryptographic validation on the counterparty's hardware. Achieving instant zero-trust counterparty finality in a disconnected environment is mathematically impossible on a blockchain. On DSM, it is native. If state is localized and devices go offline, there must be a secure mechanism to guarantee data availability and backup. This is handled by a cluster of DSM storage nodes deployed across multiple distinct cloud regions. Unlike blockchain nodes that crunch numbers to sign blocks, DSM architecture uses dumb storage. These nodes act purely as HTTP indices, storing encrypted data without validation. Edge clients retrieve this encrypted state and validate it locally, immediately rejecting any invalid transitions. Separating data availability from the validation process ensures that even if a storage provider is compromised, the cryptographic integrity of the state machine remains sovereign. This split-screen diagram compares the two different network structures. The centralized topology on the left visibly lags as it struggles to synchronize a single block globally. On the right,
The relationship local topology operates with hundreds of independent, simultaneous peer-to-peer settlements. This structure provides specific mechanical advantages for deterministic Bitcoin, or DBTC, flows. The Bitcoin main chain is utilized strictly to anchor entry and exit transactions. All intermediate logic and coordination run gas-free within the DSM layer. Users inherit Bitcoin's rigorous proof-of-work trust base without being forced to suffer its transactional bottlenecks. The stated intent in 2008 was a system allowing willing parties to transact directly. DSM fulfills this mandate by placing Cypherpunk primitives at the absolute edge of the network. The architecture results in a decentralized reality entirely free of global bottlenecks. Independent nodes execute seamlessly with one another without relying on a central core. Verifiable AI agents, secure sovereign identity, and complex bilateral exchanges function natively in these disconnected environments. Decentralized trust scales through the deployment of deterministic mathematical truth directly at the edge.